Congress is trying to stop a potentially devastating railroad strike. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Jeff Pierre. It's Thursday, December 1st. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. The House passed a bill yesterday that would force unions to accept a controversial deal with freight companies. A big sticking point is paid sick days, which was excluded in that deal. But then another version was passed that includes paid sick leave. One of those bills now needs to pass the Senate, where its future is less predictable. Without a deal in place, unions could strike as early as December 9th. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi spoke about what a strike would mean for the country yesterday before the vote.
Let me be clear, a nationwide rail shutdown would be catastrophic. A shutdown would grind our economy to a halt and every family would feel the strain. As many of 765,000 workers, including many union members, would lose their jobs in just the first 2 weeks.
A strike could affect food and energy supplies, train travel, and even drinking water. Number 2. An appeals court has decided to keep President Biden's student loan forgiveness program on pause. Yesterday's ruling was the latest legal setback for the plan. It would forgive up to $20,000 in federal student loans for millions of people. So what now? The court still needs to issue a full ruling on the program. Also, the Biden administration has already asked the Supreme Court to weigh in. For now, though, the program remains on hold. Number 3, gas prices could drop below $3 a gallon by Christmas. Filling up now is as cheap as it was in February, just before the invasion of Ukraine started a global energy crisis. This is not necessarily a good sign. Demand has fallen because countries are bracing for an economic downturn, among other factors. The nation's central bank may slow down its interest rate hikes starting this month because it's seeing signs that inflation is slowing down. At number 4, Iran is trying harder to kill and kidnap people around the world. The targets are government officials, journalists, and activists. Dissidents who have fled Iran are also targets. We know this is happening because the Post interviewed officials in the U.S., Europe, and the Middle East, where Iran has been blamed for different threats and plots. Our colleagues also looked through government documents where these things have been discussed. Iran's motivation is the uprising in the country. Officials say that the regime wants to silence criticism abroad and also seeks revenge for the 2020 killing of a military commander. Number 5. Fleetwood Mac singer-songwriter Christine McVie died yesterday. She's being remembered as a writer on some of the band's biggest hits, like Don't Stop and Everywhere. She brought those songs to life with her co-vocalist Stevie Nicks. McVie was 79. Her family said she died after a short illness. Fleetwood Mac hit superstardom in the 1970s and 80s. Their 1977 album Rumors sold over 40 million copies. At number 6, the British royal family is caught up in another racism controversy. So it seems that Prince William's godmother badgered a Black British guest at Buckingham Palace. She asked the guest questions like, "Where are you really from?" She resigned her honorary palace role yesterday. The royal family has run into accusations of racism before, including their treatment of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. At number 7, Spotify Wrapped season is here. The streaming service's annual review of your listening history lets you find out and share how many minutes you spent jamming to that one song. Bad Bunny, one of Latin music's most recognized voices, was the most streamed global artist for the third year in a row. His music had 18.5 billion streams in 2022. I think I was responsible for at least 1 billion of those streams. I love me some Bad Bunny. And listen, this year, the Washington Post created its own version of Wrapped, adding up the stories you've read and more. It's super fun. You'll find it in the 7 briefing that's linked in our show notes. You are all caught up. I'm Jeff Pierre. I will meet you back here tomorrow.